If you've started a business, you know what it feels like to start it with that passion and that fervor and that excitement. But if you miss this one piece in building your business, you set yourself up for massive catastrophe down the road. Why are business core values so important? Watch this video to set yourself up for long-term success when you have the castle walls of your business core values clearly defined. I'm Kimberly Spencer, founder of crownyourself.com, helping visionary leaders stand out in their purpose, build their empire, and crown themselves. Now, this one piece of building a business is not always the sexiest piece, because when you get into a relationship, building your first business, or your second, or your third, or your fourth, or your fifth, however many businesses you're on. But when you first get started in building a business, there's that passion, there's that excitement. It's like when you first get into any romantic relationship and it is hot and heavy and spicy and there's sexy texts going back and forth and it is exciting. The problem is if that relationship, just like in personal relationships, if your business relationship isn't based on mutual core values, then you're setting yourself up for a little bit of heartache down the road. To give you an example, I was the president of an e-commerce startup from 2012 to 2014. I was initially brought on and introduced by my dad, who introduced me to one of his clients about this backstretching device that my future business partner was bringing to market. And so he brought me on as the president of the company. Now, we were super passionate about this product. We were super excited to bring this product to market. We saw the value, we'd felt the value, we'd experienced the benefits of this product. The problem was that in all this passion and fervor with this new relationship, meaning the relationship with our business, we didn't set up the core values of the business. And what happened was, when the core values are not established, then you default to your own core values. And sometimes, just like with personal relationships, your personal values are different than somebody else's. And this was very much the case with myself and my business partner. And it's not to say that his values were good and mine were bad, or mine were good and his were bad. It was just they were different. And what happens is your values are a subconscious processing system in which you make your decisions and choices. So if you have two people who are making decisions and choices based on a different set of personal values that aren't in congruence with what the business is driving, then it's basically like trying to drive the business in two different directions. Have you ever been on a road trip with someone and your map says one thing, but their app that is a different app for maps says a totally different way of getting to the same destination? Well, that can be incredibly frustrating, and that's exactly what happens when you have not defined your business core values. The other piece with not defining your business core values is, you know how when you squeeze an orange, you get orange juice out of it? Well, that's what happens when any business goes through challenges and pressure. You see the juice that comes out of the orange. If it's not inside of you, it's not coming out of you. But if you have different values, or if you're being motivated by different emotions, feelings, subconscious programming, then the juice that is squeezed as you make those decisions under pressure sometimes gets mixed and it doesn't taste so good. And that was exactly the case with my e-commerce startup, was when both my business partner and I started to have some conflicts, some struggles, some challenges within the business. We were making decisions in two separate ways based on two separate value systems, and thus they were in conflict with each other. Kind of like mixing apple juice with celery juice. It doesn't always taste right if you don't have the right mix. You see what I'm saying? So fast forward to 2014, when we had some extra challenges, stress, and growth opportunities coming our way, My business partner decided he wanted to buy me out, and I was devastated. I dedicated 2 years of my life to this company, and it felt like such a crushing blow. I felt like such a failure, and I had all the feels around this. So, this is why it's incredibly important to define your business core values so that your leadership team knows how to make decisions. Now, because I believe everything happens for you, not to you, the benefit of me going through this experience was when 5 years later, one of my clients was experiencing a similar values misalignment with her business partner. I saw exactly what that problem was right away. And when we defined her business core values and saw the habits, decision-making strategies, and choices that her business partner were making, we definitely saw the rift in values alignment. You see, the thing is that if you have a core value in your business, and a core value maybe even for you as a person, that you have something like a growth mindset, innovation, a can-do attitude. Well, counter to those values is going to be something else, and somebody else may have those values. So what does it mean to have conflicting values? And here's the other key piece about defining your business core values. Just like what I said with my e-commerce company and my business partner in that business, we had separate core values, different core values, and if one partner values innovation and the other one values certainty, then there's going to be different decision-making strategies that come into place. That is as true with the leadership team as it is with your customers. So I have seen this question posed on social media all over the place of like, how do you feel about typos in people's work? For me, my core value is action and speed of implementation and innovation. So I do my best, but I try not to put out things that have spelling errors, but I'm okay and quite forgiving if I do. So if you have mismatched core values, meaning one business partner or one person on your leadership team values speed of action and another business partner values accuracy, the way that you approach problems and the customers that you attract will be completely different. So for example, in my e-commerce company, as someone who values speed of action and speed of implementation, I am okay and quite forgiving, as is my community, as is the people who follow me, if there is an occasional spelling error, grammatical error. I have done so much work on overcoming perfectionism and seen the value of just implementing, doing, and putting it out there. Testing, failing, and then seeing what works, seeing the feedback, and then adjusting accordingly. However, when I was in that relationship with my e-commerce business partner, he valued accuracy. And thus his community and the people that he brought into our mailing list also valued accuracy. So if there was a typo or some grammatical error, which, we try our best to not have, but sometimes they happen. If they happened, I would get redlined emails back from the customers, and it was such like a heartache and so challenging for me because it went against a core value of speed of implementation and taking action. Now, it's not to say that accuracy is a wrong value or that speed of action is a wrong value. It's not that one is good or bad or right or wrong. They're just different, and thus they will attract different customers. So to circle back to my client who later had a similar problem because she had not yet defined her business core values, when she did define her business core values, some of her customers were like, I don't think we belong in this kingdom, because they were the ones who would always complain about how challenging her projects were. They would complain about the work. They would complain about finding the instructions, and they didn't have that same can-do attitude that she valued and that was a core value in her business. And so they ended up leaving. And of course, when anybody leaves our world, the law of the vacuum takes place. Now, this is my favorite law because when you define your business core values, this law goes into action. The law of the vacuum is a universal law that says that the universe abhors a vacuum. I like to think about this as when you are walking on the beach and you are leaving those footprints in the sand, eventually those footprints will be covered up by the wave and then will be covered up by more sands till those footprints disappear. So when you do something that creates space for new things to fill in, meaning customers leave who aren't aligned with your values, or in my case, business partners leave or buy you out, in order for you to then create something that is fully aligned with you and your values. It's no surprise to me now, in hindsight being 2020, that it was right after I was bought out of my business that I then jetted off to my honeymoon. Literally, we signed the buyout agreement 3 weeks before I got married. And I jetted off to my honeymoon with Spiky, and we were in Italy for 6 weeks in our Airbnb, and that was when I came up with the idea for Crown Yourself, a fully aligned business with my core values that I could clearly define. The same was true for my client. When those customers left that weren't aligned with having a can-do attitude, what happened was her list size actually doubled because she doubled down on the marketing and the messaging around her core values, which made her marketing less vanilla. It made her stand out, and it made her be a hell yes for those customers who's like, I love a good challenge. I totally have a can-do attitude. I love a project that I could figure out that could challenge me, that it would allow me to strengthen this core value of a can-do attitude that inspired other people to come into her world. So even though a small handful of customers left her community, she ended up doubling her list size because she doubled down on her core values. So how do you define your business's core values? Well, first, if you have anybody else involved in your leadership decisions of your business, meaning you have a partner, maybe you have a board, maybe you have a leadership team, if you have a CEO, a COO, or if you're just a solopreneur, fortunately, if you're just a solopreneur, it's just you. If you have some founding members, then it's your responsibility to then gather everyone's personal core values to then imbue them and embed them into what matters for the business. What are the business's core values that the business has legs to stand on? And if you want a resource for defining your business's core values, click the link below because I have a freebie on over 100 different core values that you and your business can have to simplify this process. Now, in over 5 years of coaching leaders and entrepreneurs, I have seen business core values range from everything to health, freedom, can-do attitude, grow or die mindset, personal responsibility, being a straight shooter, candid, having common courtesy. The range of values is endless. It just depends on what is a value for you. So how do you define your business core values? Well, the first step is to get clear on what you personally value. What are your personal core values that drive your decision making? Down below, there is a fantastic tool called the Bank Personality Test that is based on values-based decision making. It literally will take you 90 seconds to do, so click below and do that exercise. It'll give you some insight as to how you make values-based decisions. If you have a leadership team, or if you have a business partner, or if you just want to have your spouse or husband or wife do it, have them take that too. It literally takes 90 seconds, but it does help you get aligned and get aware of what your personal values are and what someone else's personal values are. Because so often, and it's very easy for us as humans to have both the ignorance and the arrogance, let's be honest, to think that everybody should feel the same way and have the same values as we do. They don't. So it will give you an idea of both what your personal values are and how you make values-based decisions, as well as your partner, your business partner, your lover, your husband, your wife. It'll give you insight as to how they make values-based decisions. I can tell you when I took this personality test with my husband, I was like, oh, I get you. I get why you sometimes take action and then like freeze. And he was like, I get you. I understand why I've got to be a little bit more like nurturing and like make you feel significant in a certain way. It made so much sense. So it was really very, very valuable for us to do, even though my husband does coach in my company and he coaches my private clients and he coaches our Communication Queens agency clients. He is not a partner in my business, but I did have him take it because he's my partner in life and he's also the co-founder of our children. So I highly recommend it to get you clear on your personal values and anybody who's close to you, your friends, your family. If you want to get to know them better, understanding how they make values-based decisions is key. Number 2, if you have a leadership board or partners in your business, have them take the quiz and then take the answers of that personality test and look at what are the values that you want to imbue into your business. Now, this is really easy if you're a solopreneur because you can look at what are those values that you personally are already bringing to your business? What are those key values that are already coming through? You'll find that some personal values are different than your business core values. To give you an example, one of my personal number one core value is freedom as a person. That does not mean that that is in my business though. Actually, our business number one core value is ownership, and ownership as defined as personal responsibility. And so taking ownership, besides own is a part of the word crown, taking ownership for your actions, for your choices, putting yourself at cause, that is the key core value of our business because that is one of the key things that we preach, teach, show up. It's one of the first things I work with on my clients on doing in their life, in their business, in their relationships. So being able to look at which values am I already portraying through my business and which values are just me as a person. Once you can separate the two, because your business is not your personal identity. And if you're feeling like your business is a part of your personal identity, it can be a part of who you are, but it isn't all of who you are. You are so much more than just your business. So making your business feel and be a separate entity with separate values than you personally have. Now, of course, you will have these values. And especially as the leader of your business, you should exemplify the values that are in your business. Some of them may need a little bit more work than you already automatically do with your own personal values. So that leads us to step number 3, is look at how do you need to lead and grow into the core business values that you've established. And if you would like a resource to help you establish your core business values, click the link below for our freebie resource on over 100 values that you can choose from that can inspire you. This has been taken from literally almost 1,000, I think, coaching sessions with my clients to be able to see what their core values are and what really is driving their decision making as a leader, consciously and unconsciously. What happens is that once you define your business's core values, your business's core values will be the way you hire, the way you fire, the way you lead, and they will show up, just like with my client, in your marketing and your messaging, because when you double down on your values, you double down on attracting the right people with the right message to your business. So let me know what you loved about this video in the comments below. And if this video served you, I'd love to know, what are your core values, both as a person and that you are going to put into your business? And of course, if you like this video, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with your friends, especially if you have a business partner. You might want to share it with them too. I hope you like this video and click down below. And as always, my fellow sovereigns, own your throne, mind your business, because your reign is now. To give you an example, when I first started an e-commerce company back in, how old was I? Oh God, it's been 10 years now. I was the president and excuse me. Another giant mistake that business core values.